Hello, my name is Ratan. I'm pastry chef here at Silvi's Creations. Today, as a holiday themed dessert, I'm going to make basically a pumpkin cheesecake. So it's like a fusion between a pumpkin pie and a cheesecake. I think it's something new, and especially in India, they don't really eat pumpkin as a sweet thing, and I think it's actually really nice once you try it. So first I'm going to crumble the biscuit, and essentially this is about 75 grams of biscuits. Overall we're going to make a 600 gram cheesecake. Put the biscuits in a Ziplock bag, and then do not seal it the entire way because air has to escape, and then just with a rolling pin crush the biscuits. So after I've crumbled the biscuit, I need to mix it with the melted butter that I have over here. Okay, and sugar, the brown sugar. You see how the biscuits kind of can clump together? That's basically the texture that you want to achieve. So this is a collapsible tin. So the base basically pulls out of the tin, and it makes your life easier when making a cheesecake. Basically kind of flatten it evenly. And for that I use like any tool. You can use the back of a glass also, it's more than enough. I'm using this tool, which is normally they used to pack in espresso for your espresso machine. Now, on top of doing this, we need to bake it in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for at least 10 minutes. And essentially what you're trying to do is slowly melt the sugar, caramel, and toast the breadcrumbs so it has this nice toasty, fragrant sort of, it has a nice appearance as well. So while we wait for our base to toast and caramelize, we're going to start making the cheesecake base that will go in as the filling. So first we need like a bowl. Then I take 30 grams of softened butter, and this is 45 grams of powdered sugar. Now this I'm going to cream. So basically you're trying to incorporate air into the sugar as well as dissolve it a little bit into the butter. So normally you would add your egg yolks to your butter and sugar mixture in order to emulsify it, but I like adding the cream cheese before the eggs in order to make sure that my cream cheese is nice and smooth and there's no lumps, and I think overall it ends up with a better texture at the end. Okay, this is 200 grams of cream cheese, and now basically I'm going to mix it in order to emulsify the butter and the cream cheese together. So this would be the texture that we want to achieve after we add in our cream cheese. There are no lumps, and it's nice and smooth, and there's no like lumps of butter, sugar, nothing like that. It's nice and even. Now we'll be adding the egg yolks, and I'll be adding 3 egg yolks. And now we can begin emulsifying the egg yolks with the cream cheese mixture. Okay. Now I'm going to add corn flour. This is about 10 grams of corn flour. To this we're going to be adding a little bit of cream. So this is about 75 milliliters of cream. This is just to help with the texture as well, and it ends up with a nice creamy cheesecake at the end. We need to mix that as well. Okay. So now basically the last ingredient we need to add is vanilla essence, and you don't really need that much of it. Maximum about 5 ml should do, depending on the strength of your vanilla essence. The one I have is not as strong, so 5 ml is perfect. And then we need to mix that as well. So this is basically our cheesecake base, like our filling, and you can just bake it directly like this and it'll be like a proper New York cheesecake. Otherwise, I'm going to take half the batter and basically mix it with the pumpkin. So I've made this pumpkin puree as well. And essentially what it is it's boiled pumpkin, and why it's boiled is even though if you bake the pumpkin, it would be better, but you have to bake pumpkin in large chunks. You don't really need that much pumpkin for this recipe. Maximum about only 100 grams of actually cooked pumpkin. And that honestly is like you can just boil it, steam it, just make it until it's soft. And then you puree it with cinnamon, ginger, a bit of nutmeg, and vanilla essence and salt. This is a completely unnecessary step, but essentially you can just mix in this puree into the cream cheese mixture and then bake it. It'll still turn out the same. Because I wanted to look a little prettier, I'm just going to try and put half and do it that way. So I want to create a slightly marbled effect in my cheesecake. So when you cut it, you'll see like the pumpkin and the cheesecake, essentially. So we'll be alternating the different fillings in basically a 4-leaf flavor shape, something very simple. But when you finally cut the cheesecake, you will notice that, you know, the layers have set as they have essentially. Basically, after you finish putting in this thing, you can make whatever design that you want. I am just going to go for a very simple spiral. After that, like draw in lines. So now we're going to put the cheesecake in the oven. Now I'm going to put it at 120 for 60 minutes and that should be perfectly done. I don't need a water bath or anything like that. I can put it directly in the oven. But perhaps if your oven only goes to maybe like 160 or 150, you need to make sure that your tin is cling wrapped at the bottom and then put in at 150 with a water bath for the same duration of 60 minutes. The end result is basically the same. Okay, that's done. Now 60 minutes later your cheesecake will be done and you will know that it's done because it'll have a slight wobble, a very slight wobble when you shake the tin. And yeah, essentially after that it needs to be, then you leave it outside at room temperature for about 30 minutes just so that it isn't hot when you put it in the fridge, and it needs to rest in the fridge for a minimum of 4 hours before we can demold it. Okay, so after putting it in the fridge for 4 hours, we're ready to demold and garnish the cheesecake. You don't need to garnish this cheesecake. Quite frankly, it can be eaten plain, or you can also eat it with whatever fruit compote, or like especially blueberry compote, or even like you can make your own apple cinnamon compote. All will go well with this thing. But I'm going to garnish it just to make it look pretty. Okay. It comes off very easily. All you have to do is just gently, after warming it up a little bit, gently just push it out of the mold. This is why having a collapsible tin makes your job much easier. Now we just need to garnish it. I'm going to do a very simple garnish of whipped cream, salted caramel, and a bit of walnut praline. Merry Christmas. I hope you try out this recipe and thank you so much.